Alright, let's take a look at how the new key points functionality works. Then we'll look at how we can apply it to developing the team idea, and then there's a couple of miscellaneous issues I want to show you. So first, we're looking at the key points list for the goals page, or the goals worksheet. We can see that the key points are listed 1, 2, 3, 4. That just represents chronological order, not priority. Priority will be taken care of in another step. So the first thing we'll see here is that each one of them is a numbered key point. It contains the author name, the time of the last revision, the number of revisions, and this is a link to the details about that revision. We can see the revise button, a link that will show us the revision history. We can also join the discussion about this key point, and we can see there's 38 comments here and 1 new comment. By the way, this addresses one of the issues about having 0 new comments. We can see just below it, if there's no new comments, we just don't say anything, but we do indicate how many comments there are, and instead of display the discussion, it says join the discussion, which is hopefully a little more pleasant and inviting. So the first thing we'll do is let's revise this particular one. And we're going to get rid of the graffiti. We're going to get rid of the graffiti here that says BS was here, and we'll get rid of anonymous because it won't be anonymous now. So we're just going to say make a good point. And we're going to give it a comment which says that new version, and we'll save it. Here we have posted by Brian Sullivan rather than anonymous. Click save, it gets processed, and there it is inserted into the key list point. You also notice that it opened up the discussion, and it did that so it can show us my new comment here at the bottom. Let's just close the discussion so we aren't. Here next we see display 32 revisions. And this opens up a little window underneath the key point. And we can see each one of the revisions, and we have the red strike through and green underline to show us what's changed since the previous revision. Now we can also compare a couple of revisions. We'll select these two, click compare, and this will show us what the changes are in the same red and green formatting. We can close that revisions, and let's scroll down a little bit further here, and we can look at goal number 9. We'll see it says this is the first revision because there's no revision history if there's only one version. And we can click on revise, and we can enter in our comment. And we'll say new and anonymous, and in this case it will be posted anonymous. And there it's anonymous. Once again, it opens up the conversation area, the discussion area, to show where my new comment is. People can also add regular comments into this. Because of the testing I'm doing, it just looks like it's filled with version notes. Finally, we can suggest a goal. That'll bring up a new empty box and say, save that, and it gets inserted automatically. One thing to notice now is that there's no longer a general discussion for the goals page, and that's also true for the action plan, for the impacts, the first steps. All of the discussion occurs in the key points. Let's look at the action plan. Let's look at first steps. This is what a page looks like when there are no key points. So instead of letting people start talking about their ideas, we just encourage them to create the first key point. And after all, it can be revised again and again by themselves or others. So there's no reason not to just start putting up your ideas and improving them. Now that we've seen what the key point functionality looks like and how it works for our list, we can see how we can apply it to developing the team idea, which consists of the proposal title, a description of the problem, and a description of the solution. What we allow the team to do is just revise the title independently, or the problem independently, or the solution. Anyone on the team can go in and make a revision, or they can discuss it. There is no independent area for just generally discussing the idea. Again, the point is just go in there and start talking about it. The proposal title, the problem, and the solution, the first versions are going to come from the team sign-up page as they were entered by the team leader. Once they are on this page, then anybody in the team can revise them. And we'll hope that the team kind of converges on an idea through that revision, dialogue, and deliberation process. Right now, we don't see any voting mechanism that would be appended to the page once they've decided it's time to vote on it. We can't allow people to vote on the idea if it's still under revision, because different members will be voting on different sections. We will append the voting mechanism once they decided that they probably have some convergence. And at that point, the revision process will end, because we can't allow people to revise while people are voting, because they'd be voting on different versions. Now, something different is to look at the way the proposal schedule is presented. On the left, we have the older style, although it's shrunk down quite a bit, and on the right, we have the newer style, which has 2 panes. I agree that the newer style isn't very intuitive or pleasing, so I think I'm going to try to go and evolve it further into a design that looks more like the earlier version, that's easier to follow with the eye, but I'm going to shrink it down. The initial implementation of the early version was quite large, and you couldn't even see it in one screenshot. As I mentioned earlier, I've removed the general discussion from the idea, goals, action plan, impact, and first steps. In addition, I want to consolidate the discussion areas that appear underneath the schedule, the start discussion here, and 2 discussions that appear on the team info page, the team introductions and the working together. In fact, nobody used the schedule discussion or the working together discussion, so I'd like to combine them into one generic team discussion area, which is going to be the place to talk about issues that are not related to a specific section or content in the proposal. The other thing I want to do is consolidate the proposal steps page with the schedule, this team info page that includes the team member stats and the team introductions, along with the idea page where they'll develop their title, their proposal title, and the problem and the solution. And I'd like to combine those into one page that's more like a team. I want to combine these into a team homepage. This would be the initial page that the team member would see. It would have the team member information. It would have the team discussion area, which included the introduction as well as anything else they need to talk about as a team. It would have the schedule, and it would have the area where they're going to develop the proposal title, the problem, and the solution. So in a sense, the team comes here, this is their home page, and they don't really have to leave it until they agree on the problem that they want, on the proposal that they want to create. All right, that covers the issues I wanted to deal with.